I think I know why Whitebeard valued family over the Pirate King. Whitebeard is easily one of the most complex characters in all of One Piece. You would think that a character that has reached emperor status and is regarded as one of the most legendary pirates of all time would take his rightful place on the throne of the Pirate King after Roger's passing. But he neglected to do so. Why? Did he lack ambition? Nah, I don't think we can say that. He was considered to be the world's strongest man during his prime and even thereafter. So Whitebeard definitely had ambition. Well, did he lack responsibility? I can't say that either. He had one of the largest crews in all of One Piece, plus he had territories like Fishman Island. Well, maybe he declined the Pirate King position out of respect for Roger. I can't say that either. Even though Roger and Whitebeard respected each other, and Roger wouldn't have become the Pirate King if Whitebeard didn't allow Roger to have Odin on his ship, they were still rivals at the end of the day, so there was still a competitive nature there. So why did Whitebeard refuse to become the Pirate King? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it's because he chose family over everything. But then it begs the question, can't you still have a family and achieve greatness? We've seen many characters in the series do it. I believe the answer is yes. However, there is a sacrifice that Whitebeard wasn't willing to risk. So initially, it was theorized that Whitebeard wanted a family even more than becoming the king of the pirates because he had a rough upbringing. And although that may have played a role into it, considering that Whitebeard was an orphan, I truly believe that God Valley provided the real insights into Whitebeard's character. During the God Valley flashback, we have an opportunity to see Rox, one of the most powerful pirates in the history of One Piece, have Whitebeard considered to be his right-hand man, because it looks like Harald did not want to join the Rox Pirates crew, even though that was one of Rox's best friends. So Whitebeard had a first-hand look to see how Rox operated his pirate crew, and also had an opportunity to see how Rox pushed for the king of the world. Whitebeard saw how much ambition it took. He also saw how much power it took to achieve such crazy feats. However, when we are first introduced to Whitebeard on the Rox Pirates, he is definitely committed to Rox, but from the rest of the Rox Pirates perspective, he's a little bit uninspired. And that's because the Rox Pirates as a crew did not really respect each other all the way. They all just had a common goal and joined together, similar to how Blackbeard runs his crew at some points. We see moments where Shakky and Silveraxe are fighting against each other. Whitebeard doesn't know who to trust. There is a lot of tension within the Rox Pirates. And although Whitebeard agreed to sail the seas with Rox, he still did not believe in Rox at the level that Rox believed in himself. But as we head into chapter 1158, I believe that starts to shift. Shakky, one of the most famed pirates from Amazon Lily, had the hearts of pirates all across the seas in One Piece. And she decides to leave Amazon Lily and open up a bar in Pirate Island. Many pirates from all across the seas used to shoot their shot at Shakky. That does include Roger and Rox. But this time around was different. This time around, when Rox is in Shakky's bar, he's not showing any signs of attraction or interest, which is starting to throw Shakky off. So Shakky, using her woman intuition, is able to pick up on this immediately. She questions Rox, basically hinting that if Rox isn't in love with her anymore, there might be another woman out there that Rox is in love with. Now, we have to understand who else was in the building and who overheard this. Whitebeard overheard Shakky teasing Rox, and initially he did not put the pieces together, but I believe that this is when his respect for Rox started to escalate. Because a few moments after the scene, we see a young Roger enter the bar, and he has an argument with Rox, which causes a lot of noise, and Whitebeard says, you know what, I want to step outside. I can't be around these people. And before he's able to exit the building, Shakky asked him if he's going to take care of his tab. Whitebeard responds to Shakky saying, no, put my tab on Rox. Let Rox handle this. This is a moment that's so minuscule, but it is so powerful for Whitebeard's character. Well, many of you watching this video right now may say, well, that's really not that serious. He's just asking Rox to handle his tab. But we have to understand who this is coming from. This is not some no-name pirate, y'all. This is one of the most prideful, legendary, strongest pirates to ever walk the earth in the One Piece world. Whitebeard, a person that believes that they are so powerful that they want to take on the responsibility of others. He wants people to rely on him, is allowing himself to rely on another person. To me, what this meant is that his respect for Rocks is on a different level now. And I believe it started to elevate because he realized that Rocks may be moving this ridiculously because there is somebody else out there that he wants to protect and fight for. And if there's anybody in the One Piece world that lives to protect his people, it is Whitebeard. That's all Whitebeard really wants. Whitebeard is so confident and self-sufficient, he would never defer to someone else to handle his duties. But Rocks is the only person that got this level of respect, and that's because of what Rocks is fighting for. So we see Whitebeard, the self-proclaimed father figure, relinquishing his duties to his captain. This is very important. When we fast forward to chapter 1162 in God Valley, Rocks is seeing the effects of Domu Reversi on his family. Imu starts to turn the Davy clan against Rocks, and we know that Rocks is part of the Davy clan. Not only is Rocks enraged by this, but he declares to fight without holding back against the Celestial Dragons and the world government and everybody there. And this is what Whitebeard wanted to confirm. What happened back in Shakky's bar, is this legitimate? Is there something that Rocks is actually fighting for? And then Whitebeard had an opportunity to see Rocks literally fight for it in God Valley. And this solidified Whitebeard's respect for Rocks, which is why when Rocks asked Whitebeard to help him fight, knowing that Whitebeard would get nothing out of it, Whitebeard immediately agreed. And one of the things Whitebeard mentions is that he owes Rocks because Rocks took care of his tabs. What Whitebeard is essentially saying here is that I actually chose the right man to follow, and now I owe him because I doubted him. So what mattered to Whitebeard more than anything else was trying to understand who the man he chose to follow was. And what's funny about this is that when Shakky hinted that Rocks had another woman he cared for, Rocks was afraid for any of the Rocks pirates to hear about this because he thought that that would make them look at him in a weaker light. But this knowledge actually made Whitebeard lock in even more. When we move on to chapter 1163, we see Imu use Domu Reversi on Rocks himself and command Rocks to slaughter his wife and his child. And what hurts Whitebeard the most is that this Domu Reversi Rocks tells Whitebeard to his face that he did not care about the crew. Obviously, this is an evil version of Rocks speaking because Imu used Domu Reversi, but Whitebeard at the time did not understand the situation. And because Whitebeard was so hurt by the betrayal, the Rocks pirates were disbanded immediately after. But as Whitebeard grew older, he learned empathy from that moment. During the Marineford War, we see Akainu trying to manipulate some of Whitebeard's allies to fight against him, and it ends up working on Squard. So eventually we see Squard attack Whitebeard and stab him, and one of the first things Whitebeard does is he hugs Squard and tells him he loves him. That immediately calls back to what happened in God Valley. As Whitebeard grew older and began to learn more about the world, it is my belief that he understood what really happened to Rocks, and that he may have felt guilt for disbanding the Rocks pirates. But it also taught him the importance of family, and that even though Rocks was chasing the king of the world and he wanted to fight Imu and take down the world government more so than anything else, it came at a cost. It came at him losing some of his family. It came at him losing his own life. And Whitebeard, more so than anything, believed that protecting your family is even more valuable than chasing those highest heights. And seeing this confirms the reason why Whitebeard could not offer Rocks' son Marshall D. Teach the same grace. It's the reason why Whitebeard did not want Ace to chase after Blackbeard. It's the reason why Whitebeard wanted to take responsibility for Blackbeard's actions. Because Whitebeard was not only betrayed by Rocks and betrayed by Squard, but he was also betrayed by Blackbeard. And maybe it could have been rectified if Blackbeard did not commit the cardinal sin on Whitebeard's ship. And that's the fact that you cannot murder your brother. So now we head back to our original question. Why did Whitebeard turn down the King of the Pirates just to have a family? And I believe Whitebeard's time with Rocks actually answered that question. Whitebeard understood that chasing the King of the World or the King of the Pirates came at a great sacrifice, and that gaining strength to protect your family actually matters even more. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.